Commence the first proceedings of the Kathopanishad. We had the curtain raiser last week. Now we will go about and see the importance of today as well as the Kathopanishad. The very first Valli, because it's called Valli. Kathopanishad has got 6 Vallis. 6 Valli is a chapter. Each Valli is a chapter. The first Valli is the it has got 2 parts. The part 1 has got 3 Vallis, 3 chapters. And part 2 has got 3 Vallis, another 3 chapters. Totally, there are 6 chapters in 2 parts of Kathopanishad. We are going on to the first part of Kathopanishad, the first Valli. The first Valli has got 29 mantras. These 29 mantras, the first 4 to 5 mantras are going to set the entire scenario for the Kathopanishad. And it will, we can just see, how this Upanishad is taking us to a level where, we will find, a little startling. It will all appear to be very simple statements. But as we go about the profound meaning, the profound purpose, the profound knowledge, which all we will be able to get is one of the finest Upanishad from that perspective. That is why it is considered to be akin to Bhagavad Gita, and Bhagavad Gita and Kathopanishad, you will find, will be interchanging. Quite often, we will be taking up some of the corresponding slokas from the Bhagavad Gita because most of them have been adopted from Kathopanishad. So you will find, whether we are discussing Bhagavad Gita or Kathopanishad. That is the level of its similarity with Bhagavad Gita. With this small introduction, today we will commence our proceedings. And we will also be talking about the importance of today, because all of us know it is a Panguni Uttram. We will also be talk about it. It's a holy, in North India. Both have got a very important significance, in the life of the entire Indians, not only for the whole world, but it is being enshrined in the Indian culture. We'll go for that. So let's commence the proceedings for the day. Om Shri Gurubhyo Paramagurubhyo Srimadananda Tirtha Bhagavatpadacharya Namo Namaha Narayana Paripurna Gunarnavaya Visvodayal Sithitolaya Nidaiti Prataya Jnana Prataya Vibhuda Sura Saukya Dukkha Satkaranaya Vidadaya Namo Namaste Yo Vipralimba Viparita Mati Prabhudan Vadan Nirasya Kritavan Bhuvidatvavadam Sarvesvaro Haririti Pratipatakam Tam Anandatirtha Munivaryam Namami Pujaya Raghavendraya Satya Dharmarataya Cha Pajatam Kalpavrakshaya Namatam Kamadenuve Shanti Pataha Kathopanishad Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi Tejasvinavaditamastu ma Vishvidavahaihi Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Welcome friends. This Shanti Pata we are reciting for every Upanishad because this is between the Shishya and the Guru, and how we learn to jointly develop our knowledge, and Guru has to impart and the Shishya has to get. For us, the Guru is all the Bhashyakaras, Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, and all those great Acharyas. From their Bhashyam, we are taking the entire port of this Kathopanishad, as well as, the modern day Acharyas like Chinmayananda, Krishnananda, and all others have added the variety of the great purport into these meanings so that we are able to understand in the current perspective. So these are all the great acharyas we have given us this particular Upanishad. And in this, the Sahana Bhavatu, when we have recited, there is in this particular Shanti Pata, one peculiarity is there. When we said Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahaihi, Tejasvina Vatitamastu Ma Vishvidavahaihi. See, in Sanskrit, something called a Chandas is there. One of the Chandas is Gayatri Chandas. Last time we discussed about it. This particular Upanishad is in Anushtup Chandas. Anushtup Chandas is, it may be in the poetry mantra or it may be prose. That is Padya and Gadya. So Padya and Gadya mix up together and come in this Upanishad, but mostly in the form of Gadya it comes. It is in the small, simple prose with a profound meaning. That's how we know it's coming about. The first two words are Gayatri. Sahanavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu. Sahaviryam Karavavahehi Tejasvina Vatitamastu Ma Vishvidavahehi. We've got three padas are there. First two are 6 Gayatri. The next two are called Jagati. Brihati. Brihati it is called 9 letters. And then it has got one more Gayatri coming. All are intermixed. In the sense, we have got three words of 6 letters and 2 words of 19. That is 3 words of 6 makes 18. 2 words of 19 makes 18. With this, it is a mix-up of the beautiful chandas, the mixed up chandas that has been given in this particular Shantipata. That is why, when you recite it, you automatically will get the entire, how you have to be prepared to get the great knowledge. Sahanavavatu, Sahanaupanaktu, Sagaviryam Karavavahi, Tejasvina, Vadidamastu, Vam Vishvidavahi. So this chandas has been mixed so up, the very recital gives you that knowledge. That is just for the purpose of information. And coming to this today is a holy in North India as well as Panguni Uttram. In North, South, we celebrate it a lot, particularly in all the temples of Kartikeya, where Murugan is there, all the 6 these holy places, as well as lot of divine marriages have taken place on this particular day. Why so important? Panguni is the 12th month of Tamil month. Palguna, it's also 12th month, even in the it is all Chandramana and Sauryamana. In both, it is the 12th month. Uttaram is the 12th star. 12th month and 12th star, they are falling on the Purnima day. That is the full moon. The full moon, the 12th star and 12th month, all of them are aligned together. Such a holy combination is the highest combination when the vibration of the entire cosmic power will be at its peak. This is the time when the divine marriages have taken place. That is why, because this month is considered to be so important. Even this Rama has married Sita also on this particular day. Likewise, Lakshmana to Urmila and Bharata to Mandvi and then Chaturghuna to Surati, and all those marriages have taken place on those days. Even Parvati Parameshwara has got married on this day only. And apart from that, there is a vrata called, in Skanda Purana, there is a vrata called, it is Kalyana Vratam. Kalyana Vratam in the sense, those who want to get a bliss in the marital life, they do the vrata for this. I think after doing this vrata only, and Agastya, the sage Agastya, got married to Lopamudra. And she is also a great saint. And they got married, it is on this particular day only. And they did the vrata during this particular time, because that is very important. And this month is meant for that. There is a procedure for that. In Skanda Purana, we have got. This Skanda Purana is one of the important Purana where it gives lot of the procedures for conducting various pujas. For instance, even on our hello? Oh, it is coming. It's everyone is. Hello?
Hello, yes, just now I joined here. Thank you.
Then it's no problem, na? Kesavan, no problem in audio? No problem, okay. I think you have to join, Vidya. I think this phone ringing.
Hello.
Hello, is it okay? Kesavan, is it okay? Are you able to hear? Okay. So this is the particular occasion for that. This Kalyana Vratam is also taking place. Indra is also supposed to have got married to Indrani on this particular day after observing the Vrata. That is why you will find in Andal has got Nachiyar Tirumoli. That Nachiyar Tirumoli is basically to observe this Vrata to get married. And in fact, she was trying to get married to Rangamannar. For that, Nachiyar Tirumoli, she has given the whole lot of the pasurams. In that Mudalpat in the 6th Pasuram is Varanamayiram, the famous Varanamayiram which normally is being recited everywhere. Varanamayiram Sula Valamand Naranan Nambi Nadakindan Endru Purana Purkudam Vaitu Puramengum Toranam Katta Kanakande and Tolin. When she says, this is what she is exactly visualizing when she does the Vrata during this particular month. That Nachiyar Tirumoli is full of how to observe the Vrata, how to get the sort of a divine bliss with the Paramatma. That is what is being said. And while it is telling just about Varanamayiram and all, is being recited just about for marriages, it's being always printed in the wedding cards as well as recited. But for that, it has got a very great important meaning. Just we will try to bring this is an occasion we should know about it. There is one great scholar, who has written this entire Vyakhana on these things. It is one Periyavachan Pillai. When he has said, because this has got a great meaning, it is not simply that marriages and all, it is a Samyapakti Moksha, he says. When you are getting this Samyapakti Moksha, when it is on the occasion of the marriage, when you get the Moksha, you get all the 8 great Kalyana Gunas of the Paramatma. The 8 Gunas, Kalyana Guna. That is why, because he says if you go into the inner meaning of it, it gives you a lot of inner meaning, and he says, this Varanamayiram itself is explained in a different way. You will find the meaning to be totally different. Why I am bringing about this Upanishad is going to be like that. When you are reading, it will give a simple meaning. There was a Nachiketa, he did this, he had father and all those things. It is like a little story. But when you get into the details of it, it will take you to a great length. So that is why, when this particular the 8 Kalyana Gunas, when he said, it is, you will not have any papa, you will not get any sort of, mentally you will not get old, and you will not get any thirst for, any of the desires, and you will be getting to the Satya Moha, so because you will be totally stick to your words, and you will get everything done. Ninaithadai Mudipavan, what they say, that is why you get all those things, you get all the 8 Kalyana Gunas. When you are going into that, finally you get it. It is what is called Samyapakti Moksha, that is called it. This is just for the purpose of information. And this Panguni Uttram is equally important in the Shaivite tradition also, as in all the temples of Palani and Tirupparamgundram, Tirutani, everywhere, the marriages takes place. Here also, because that most of the temples, like, in Mylapore, it is also, there is, they have got 12 Tirumurais. The Shaivite tradition, they have got 12 Tirumurai, they say. The second Tirumurai is Trinyana Sambandha Tirumurai. There also he is extolling this Panguni Uttram day in such a way, Malivila Vidi Madanallar Mamale, Kalivila Kandan, Kapalichuran Nabandan, Palivila Padal say Panguni Uttiranal, Ulivila Kanade, Podio, Pumbavai. In the sense, in the Mylapore, he describes in those days, the streets were impeccable. They are all spick and span. And to walk into the streets of Mylapore and you get the entire divine energy. That's what it says. And where is it is such a divine energy, where it is there, where all the people, who are totally be elevated, in their sort of sadhana, they were there. That is why the God has come and sat in Mylapore. Kalivila Kandan, Kabalicharan, Amarndan. That's what it says. In that, the Panguni, Uttram, when that the 12th month and the 12th star, and on this full moon day, when they all combine together with the highest vibration, that is there when it takes place. Will you not be able to be in Mylapore on this particular day? That's what he is asking. I think you should be there on this particular day at this place. That's what Gnanasambandar says. Likewise, we have got our traditions in extolling this particular day. And this particular day is very important from the other point of view. Once it comes, it is spring ends, and once you come, the entire season changes, and it is going to be the season of spring to start. From here onwards, then next year comes into being, and you've got series of festivals coming through. Like, in Chitra is a festival, in Panguni ends, and the festival starts, and it goes through the entire month of Chitra. With this small introduction, now we will get into the Upanishad per se. This is the first mantra in the document which I have sent. It is page number 10. The chapter 1.1 will be there. 29 verses that would have been said. The story of Nachiketas will be the title. The mantra 1.1.1, the sacrifice of Nachiketa's father. That's what the first mantra will be telling. The first mantra, when it tells, I think it will look very simple. But anyway, we will go into the details, the meaning. The first mantra reads, Om Ushanhavi Vajashravasana Sarvaveda Samdadau Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. It will all appear. His father, Ushanhavai Vajashravasana. Vajashravasa is the name that has been given. It has got a very detailed explanation to be given. The first word Ushan, Om has to be, because it's a primordial syllable. From there only everything has come. When it has come, then the first word use it, Ushan. Ushan, if you see, the meaning of the word Ushan is desirous, desire. It will be coming. Why this word has been used? Normally, they could have used the word Icha. Icha is a very commonly known word that could have been used. But here they have used the word Ushan. So in all letters, when we had to have the awareness of God, everything is being seen and the part of the God. For instance, every letter is being identified on Panchabhuta. Like A, E, U. Everything is being seen as the part of the Panchabhuta. When you see A, E, U is representing Akasha. Akasha is the abode of the Almighty Brahman. Likewise, Sha is also Sa, which has come, that is also represents Akasha. Because it is being Na is also represent Akasha. Ushan, in the sense, once you get into that stage, when we are going to the abode of the entire Brahman, you are not supposed to be having any desire. It gives a paradox. So when you are to go there, Ushan, I think in spite of it, when you have done all these sadhanas, still you are having a desire. That is what it says. You have not been bereft of desires. You are still the remnants of the desire in you. That is Ushan Havai, because Havai in the sense, when Ushan, it is such an exalted state, Havai, even then, you are still having it. Havai Vajashravasa. See, in this particular, it has got three versions, this entire Nachiketa story. One is Anushasana Parva of Mahabharata, and it's also in Taitriya Brahmana of the Krishna Yajurveda. And it is also having a Rigveda also, one more version is there. In Kataka Samhita also, one version is there. This Vajashravashaha, it is not exactly the name of his father. He has come in the lineage. Vajashravashaha, in the sense, his grandfather's name is Vajashravasha. What is the Vajashravashaha? In the Vaja, in the sense, Vaja is called food. The one who has done Annadana, Annakut, you might have seen Annakut, in this north also says, south also says. In south, particularly in places like southern India, places like Madurai, there is always, I have been listening from my younger days, what they call Annakodi. Annakodi, in the sense, you will raise the flag of the Annakodi, because the Hamsa that will be there, white flag, it will be raised up in the morning as soon as the sunrise is there. Till sunset, whoever comes, he has to be fed. So that is called Annakodi. That is what they used to raise. And some of the people, who had some, who got the means and whose things, they need a progeny, or they need particular things to be done, or they want to conduct something and all, to have the benefit of the entire blessings on that. When they get that as a sort of gratitude, they do that annakudi. They do it annakut. It's being called in Karnataka and North India also. So the Vajashravasa is a great philanthropist. He used to feed everyone. Vajaha. And another meaning of Vaja is the one who is well versed in Vedic knowledge and who has been dispensing the Vedic knowledge to whoever comes across to him. See, he is following the principle. Once you know it, it is your bounden duty. If someone is not even asking for you, but is eligible to get that knowledge, you have to give it to him. For instance, are we eligible to know this Upanishad? Well, once you have taken an interest, then you are eligible to get that knowledge. But if someone knows you have got that interest, it is for him, he should give it. It is a duty. It's not that you will have to go and ask him. This is what the Vajashravasa has done. He is also dispensing the knowledge. He was also a great philanthropist. He has done. Vajashravasa is a Shravasa is a Kirti. Shravas is a name. Shravas normally is not, we can know that Chitra Shravas is coming in our Sandhya Vandana. When you are doing in the morning Upasthanam, it comes, because Chitra Shravas, Mitro, other Shro, there was a Chitram Shavastamam, it is coming in the next one. The Shravas is the Kirti. The Vaja is the one who is philanthropist, who has been fed everyone. He is a great lineage, he has done that. Vajashravasaka is also dispensed the law. Vajashravasaka is a great name and he has got that. Once he has got that, it is his grandson. He has come in the lineage. Actually, his name is supposed to be Uddalaka. While it is not mentioned in this Upanishad, it is being inferred as Uddalaka because there is one more Upanishad called Chandogya Upanishad. There also we will come to know about this Vajashravasaka, this Uddalaka, we will come to know about him because he is the one who is who has brought in that great Mahavakya called Tattvamasi, which comes in Chandogya Upanishad, that has been come through the son of Vajashravas. Vajashravas, this Uddalaka, he gives that particular mantra to his son, Shvetaketu, one who comes. It is being said that. So therefore, even though it is not mentioned in this Upanishad, it is inferred. The Uddalaka is the name of the person who is Nachiketa's father. Vajashravasah Sarva Vedasam Dadau. Sarva Vedasam Dadau in the sense there is one yaga is called, yajna is there. When you are completing all your, the formalities in the life, when you've done everything, you perform the marriages of your children and you settled, all your properties and whatever you are going to give, whatever you've been left with, this Vishwajit Yaga, you are supposed to be giving everything, whatever you are having, to the hilt. You are not supposed to be having any remnant of it. Because after that, you will be going to Aranyaka, Vanaprastha. Aranya, in the sense, Aranya, when you have given in Aranyaka, because there you will be reflecting, you are going into the highest bliss. You are not bothered about these menial worldly things. You are going beyond that. That is what the Vishwajit Yaga has to be done, where you have to give everything, whatever you have got. Sarva Vedasam Tato. Veda is knowledge. Vedasam in the sense, by virtue of the knowledge, whatever you have got, that when artha, whatever you call dharma artha, because of the dharma and Veda, you got artha, that wealth. Whatever you have to distribute, even not taking even a single bit of it, not even a single speck of it, you will have to do. This is the Vajashravasaka, Sarva Vedasam Tadau, Ushanhavai, Vajashravasaka, Sarva Vedasam Tadau, he has said. Now we have come to know he has come in the great lineage of Vajasa and Shravas. Shravas is a very, in fact, in the Shravas is an uncommon name, but my nephew is named as Shravas because I think, they have to, because of the astrological thing and all. Shravas is the Kirti, fame. So that Vajashravasaka, when he has done, Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa. A simple sentence is he has got a son named Nachiketa. It has got profound meaning. Tasyaha Putra. Tasyaha Nachiketa Nama Putra Asa in this age. As per the evidence in other Upanishad as well as Mahabharata, Anushasana Parva and all. The Uddalaka was supposed to have two sons. One is Shvetaketu and another is Nachiketa. The Shvetaketu is an extrovert. Even before you ask something, he will come and say, I know it. That is a type of what we call Adhiga Prasangi, is something like that. He will immediately come and say. And this Nachiketa is introvert. Because Nachiketa, you have to call him, he will simply be sitting quiet. He will be always reflecting on something. So even he has to be called for taking food, please come. And he has to be called by his father, come on, let's go and take bath. And after the bath is over, you will have to tell him, look, come on, let's go back. Then he will just listen and come back. He will never talk anything. So Nachiketa, his name was given Na Kinchit Keta, because he cannot do anything on his own unless he has been tickled and asked to come, then only he go. So his father thought the Shvetaketu is a brilliant boy and he has to be sent for all this Adhyayana and all. He has been sent. That comes in Chandogya Upanishad, not in this Upanishad. Just for the purpose of linking, how just to know the character of Nachiketa and what is he and how he is being externally being visualized. What is he actually, to find out, we need this particular background. So Nachiketa, since he has been considered to be sort of, his father considered him as a dud, because unless you tell him, he doesn't do. It's like you have two sons. One fellow, no, I will get it done. You will say, he will manage the whole world. He will buy the whole thing and all. The other fellow, who is little hesitant but is very thoughtful, but he will do the right thing. But he will not get the attention of his parents. They will say, I think this you will have to tell this fellow, then only he will do like that. So Nachiketa, this is now Nama Putra. What is Putra? Putra is son. Yes, because the Shvetaketu is also son, he is also son. The Putra, the real meaning of Putra in the entire our Hindu, the Sanatana Dharma is, Put is the hell. Put is denoted by hell. The one who is preventing his parents to go to that hell is Putra. In Garuda Puranam, normally, it is being, if you had the occasion to listen, they would have said, Putra is the one who is preventing you from getting into, who is helping his parents not to get into the hell. That is why he is called Putra. So Putra, in the sense, there is one Sanskrit itself, etymologically they say, Tumnamno Narakadeshu Trayate Pitram Sutaha. One who is preventing, who is enabling his parents to get the moksha, preventing them from getting to what is called the naraka, he is called Putra. So that is a great, because that's why he has to be full of great qualities. He has to do whatever is dharma, and he has to do whatever, because ordained, because in the normal duty, he has to perform everything perfectly. That's how Putra asa. Tasya Nachiketanama Putra asa. So in this, what is happening is, because when he is doing, his father is doing great Vishwajit Yaga, when he has done everything, this boy, he is Nachiketa, is simply been watching, because he only does, whatever has been told. In the first mantra says, he was doing great Yaga, why he has come in the lineage of Vajrashvasa, he is doing it. He has got a son called Nachiketa. Nachiketa is, I think he will just be listening, he will not be talking much, he will only be doing it. This has got a great import in the sense, you may be doing great yaga and you can say, I have given, every month, I am giving to some temple something like some puja is being performed, some yajna is being performed, all those things. When you are doing those things, there are all exoteric things, externally visible things, externally what others can see and appreciate, that is what. But are you surrendering to the God full-heartedly? Esoteric. This is what the first mantra itself says. When he is doing such a thing, he has got only, that's simply they mention he has got a son called Nachiketa. And he denotes that he is doing the Nitidhyasana. Shravana, Manana, Nitidhyasana. He is esoteric. He is already surrendered. He doesn't have any sort of desires, to be, getting into those things. Whereas his father is doing all those things, he just kept observing. Now we will go to the mantra number 2 in the same page, 1.1.2. Tam ha kumarang santam dakshinasu niyamanasu shraddha vivesha som amanyata. Tam ha kumarang. So this boy, Kumaram, they say, he is just about 7 to 8 years. Kumaram. Kaumaram, they say. That is the age. Afterwards, he is a Kishora, but it's not that. It's 5 to 11, because that is the, he is just a young boy. Tama Kumaram. Santam. Santam in the sense he is just been observing. He is not, he's helping, doing, and he is watching what is happening and all. But he has got a great faith. Whatever is being done, the father should get the entire benefit of it. He has to do as per the requirement. The filial affection, the filial anxiety is there. Whatever father does, he is doing a Vishwajit Yaga. He has to do, and he should get everything done so that he doesn't get into. He is Putra. Putra is, and he has to prevent him from getting into Naraka. That's what we gave him. Putra means it is like what we said. Pumnamno Narakadyeshu Trayate Pitaram Shuta. That is what he is supposed to be doing. He is little concerned. My father should get everything done perfectly so that he gets whatever he desires. Why we are doing Vishwajit Yaga was normally it is being done, to give up, to everything and all. While he has not given Ushanhavai, when we said he wanted to get into Swarga. Swarga is a place, where you will go and you will be there, till such time, your all our punya is there. Once your punya is exhausted, you will have to come back to the earth. It is not the final redemption. It is not the final moksha. That is why he is doing this. And in that he does the Visvajit also. But if Visvajit Yaga is done perfectly, you may get the redemption. You will get into the Turiya stage. Because you will not be getting into again and again. So this is how, because when he is contemplating on that, then it comes Dakshinasu Niyamanasu Shraddha Viveshaha Somanyata. So when he was thinking, he has to do everything, because as per this, is he doing? That is the doubt it comes. Because when he is able to see in the Visvajit Yagra, the niyama, the required is you offer all the belongings, and when you are giving it, you have to do as per the requirement. That faith is there. He also got the anxiety. I am being a putra. I should be preventing my father to get into the Naraka. He should get it. This is how. And when Dakshina were to be offered, they were of Dakshinasu Niyamanasu Shraddha Vivesha So Amanyatha. When he was giving it, they were all not of right quality. He is not able to give. See, let us see this one thing. Next mantra I will explain little more detail. The thing is, what we do, if you want to give dana, see, then you will be told, you go to this particular shop, Sumangal or Subdeep, something will be there. They will give you, he will ask you whether you want it for you or whether you wanted to give it to dana. You will say yes for dana. He will give you whatever is to be given for dana. You know what quality is this? For ourselves, we fully aware what is happening and all. So we do that, and this is the cycle. You see how it is. Once you have done, then you go by whatever your acharya says, and you give it to him, and this is the dana you have to make, so that your parents get into, they get to the sadgati. You do everything and all, and the man who is receiving, see, if you are going to offer umbrella, how many umbrellas a man will need? But all those umbrellas will come back to same Sumangal or Subdweep or whatever it is. It will only be circulated. It is the hypocrisy that is happening round and round, which we are witnessing in the modern day. It has been brought about in this Upanishad perfectly. So that is why, because what happens is this will give the change of ideas. You don't have to necessarily do it. Now, supposing you have to give symbolically one umbrella or something like that, you give it to the most deserving person, the poor person and all. And you give the acharya, whoever has to give, the money or whatever it is there. While you perform whatever has been ordained as it is, You try to give the other way, wherever the orphans are there, wherever the deserving old people are there, wherever the people need help, you contribute to that and do that, because that is what, because just for the my religion says, my procedure says I do it, and we say I have done everything, perfectly for my parents because they asked me to give this, I have done everything, I have spent so much of money. That's not the end of it. What happens? How many you are going to give him a bed? How many bed in a acharya will have? Same acharya will come for everything because it is considered to be below the dignity, because as per our Sanatana Dharma, nothing is below dignity. If you have to perform the rituals, that is one of the greatest sort of a gift given by God and one has to do. I will just narrate one small example how people were thinking, their thoughts were there, the thinking was there in those days and all. I think we might all be remembering, or we may not be remembering, or we might be knowing a bit or not. The first person to have been made the Chief Justice of a High Court anywhere in India was Muthuswami Iyer. Muthuswami Iyer was the first Chief Justice of any Indian High Court in 19th century. When the High Court was formed, the High Court of Madras was formed after the presidency of the High Court of Calcutta. He was the first person to occupy that. When he was coming from, he is a very pious man, very simple person. When he was coming from Kaveri after taking bath in his native place, someone was to perform, some rituals. Maybe I think they didn't find anyone to do that. So when he just asked them on his own what they are waiting for, when they said, because he was knowing all mantras, he was knowing all the rituals, he performed it. He performed it as a duty. Today, our own, the Acharya's children will not do it, because we have made it in such a way that is below the dignity, and in fact, it is the dignity of labor is not there. That person, see, to do those rituals, he needs so much of a knowledge. He should so much of a dhyana he has to undergo. He has to do all the Vedas. He has to do all the, because if he is from the Tamil Nadu, he has to know the all pasurams, this and that. And he has to give them everyone the comfort of what they are doing is finally being rather done in the way in which they will get the benefit and all. He has to do all those things. When the Chief Justice of a High Court didn't find anything wrong in performing the rituals, today will anyone will do? Even the children of these acharyas will not do, because they will all study some engineering, whatever engineering you do, textile or chemical engineering, you will finally get a job as a software and you will go into the software and lead the life. That is all. That is the end of it. Be all and end of all, because after all, you have to live, because like comfortably how you have got a sort of visibly a status in the society that has come about. Because I think we can't blame it, because that is the order of the day. But the thinking was not in those days like that. If someone has to perform the rituals, it was considered to be a sort of a greatest sort of duty. There are so many people, even in my grandfather, though he was having, he's a landed gentry, but then, he used to do it, because he had the sort of, basically he had the wherewithal, he had the knowledge and things, they used to do it. It was never considered to be below, the dignity or anything like that. Unfortunately, it has come about. That is how these things have happened. Everything is make-believe. Everything is a show. We are having a hypocrisy in our life. The Kathopanishad wants to break the barrier, break into you and take the hypocrisy out of it. And if you want to contribute anything, you do the rituals, yes, for your satisfaction, if you have to do for your family's sake and all. But then do something more, because what you would like to do for deserving, because some orphanages or poor children or, the old people or whoever is in a deserving one, you do that. That is how, it has to come. It is not, the Kathopanishad breaks you into that. It doesn't say, because our Sanatana Dharma says it was said in those days, in those circumstances. It has to change. It has to evolve. It has to be dynamic. If you are not dynamic, if you are going to follow that, you will have only Sumangal and Subdeep, and you will go on, circulating that same dana, and it will all be coming again and again, and we will be satisfied. We have done. The acharyas, they are also reselling that. How many you will have? You will have to have. And this is the hypocrisy we will be living in. Just for to bring how the Upanishad breaks us into the greater level of thinking, that's what we have said. See, Ushan Kamyamana, because when the Ushan directives, when you say, when you are desirous of anything at all, basically what it says is when he was doing this Vishwajit Yajna, he has not been fully qualified to do when you are having a desire, Ushan. Ushan Havai, when he says, you are still not qualified, but you are doing it. In the sense, because you want to go through the motions, you don't want to get into the exact purpose of it. This is what they have exactly brought about. Sharva Vedasam, Sarva Svadakshinam, Shraddha, Astik Vyaktiti Dvihi. So now having come to this, now they have these two small verses they have done. Then coming to the third verse, 113 in your page number 11, their gifts not worth the name. That is where we will be coming into that. Pitodakta Jagdatruna Dugdadoha Nirindriya. See, in those days, the wealth is considered to be only Pashu. Pashu is the wealth. Because if the person is wealthy, it is not the gold or bars or houses. Land everyone was having to his requirement. So in those days, it was not a problem at all. So Pito, that when he has said, if you see our the entire, when we see Mantra Pushpam, Pasuman Bhavati, when we say Pasuman Bhavati, in the sense you be wealthy. So when even someone is being blessed, Ayusham Arogyam Sopamanam Mihite Dhanyam Dhanam Pasum Bahuputralabam Sakasam Vasram Dirgamayu, which is Pasum in the sense it denotes wealth, Aishwarya, because Pasu is considered to be the foley because the cow gives you not only milk and you don't have to spend anything in those days. You just allow it to send it for grazing in the morning. It goes off. For setting it for grazing also there is a mantra. You leave it. It goes and grazes appropriately and comes in the evening. It gives you the milk. And morning also when it comes and gives the milk, that milk has to be used the morning rituals. And the other one, you will be using for the rest of this because that pasu is supposed to be the wealth. So Pito Datta, because in the sense all these cows which we are about to give as dana, they are all not able to even take a drop of water. They didn't have the energy to take a drop of water. Is it that he only had that cows? It's not so. It is like again the modern day concept comes. He had all good cows. He has got fantastic cows. And he also had, because the one medium ones also, which can be given and done. What he did before that Vishwajit Yajna, I think, it is implied here. He gave everything to his Bandhu Bandhavas, because his children, he gave whatever is the good ones. And he also gave it to wife, because when he goes first to Vanaprastham, she has to follow later. Till such time she has to have, and whatever is left, all worthless, which are all burden, which can't even take a single grass. It doesn't have the ability to take grass and digest. It is almost the last stage of the life. By giving that, you will only be burdening the other person. It's not a dakshina. You are burdening the other person. You are passing the burden to another person. Pitodaka, Jagatrina, Duktadoha, it can't give any more milk and all. Forget about it. It doesn't, it is barren now. So the barren cows, without not of any use. It's not that he did it, that he had only barren cows. Then if he had a barren cow, he is not supposed to give it as a dakshina. It is not his right to give the dakshina. He should have given whatever he had. Vishwajit, whatever you are having is had to be given. But he had just set aside everything, to his, family and friends. Finally, whatever is left, all the chaff, he wanted to give it as dakshina. The current, because thinking, because when it is dakshina, you give something like that, This is a normal thinking because we are being used to the current world. It is like that. But of course, the things are changing. It is that what they have been brought about because this has been visualized in Kathopanishad days. These are all the things likely to happen in the modern day. That's why, they have given all those things. Ananda namate loka. Ananda is Satchitananda. It is the final bliss, when you reach the Brahman. Ananda is where there is no sort of even a small amount of ananda. There is no small amount of happiness. Shuka is not there. That is ananda, naraka. Pumnamano narakadis. It is like pumna, that put, what we call it. It is ananda. That's why I said, because the ananda namate loka stan, ananda lokate loka tan such gachati ta dadat. So when he got to which he goes, who gives this as presents, who gives all useless things as presents, finally he goes to that. And here it is a soliloquy. After seeing all these things, he is giving a useless cow which can't take even a drop of water, even a part of a small, it can't take even the food, and it cannot give any milk, barren. It is being given, it is a burden, and he is giving it. By doing this, what he will do? He will only go to the particular, the Naraka. So his job is, being a putra, he has to save his father from going to Naraka. Just a minute, I will just take it. Come on. Come on. So as a putra, he will be failing in his duty. If he is not preventing his father, from getting into Naraka, and he has to get him to the full redemption. He is so concerned, because as a son, what is that finally you are supposed to be doing? Putra, you are being called, and that to Simanta Putra, that Putra is a Kanishta Putra. And he is being revered also. He is common the lineage, Vajashravasaha, where people have done so much of philanthropy and so much of a dispensing of the knowledge. Ananda namate loka stan tan such gachatita dadat, to which he goes, who gives this as presents. So when he has had that filial anxiety, when he was trying to show it, without telling that, with his facial expression, he was just, going through inside. What is this is happening? Is it to be happening to my father? And am I a putra deserving, finally not preventing him to do that? So he, being an introvert, he didn't express. His body language was there. But his father didn't bother. He was going about doing it. He has to do the present. He wanted to get into Swarga. He wanted to give all useless things to as a dakshina to everyone. He was just going about his job as it is. So then only the next one which comes, it is the climax. He was not able to tolerate anymore. And because he not only, he's by concern for his father. As a duty of a son, he's had a concern to his father. Let my father get the benefit of this. Why he should, because totally be devoid of the benefit by doing all these things. Let me tell finally. That is how he was very polite. A boy who doesn't talk to his father, he will try to give indicative suggestions only. So it's 114, the next mantra, father's curse on Nachiketa, which falls on here. Sahovacha, Saha he says, Pitaram, he says this to his father, Tata, he said, Tata is a sort of a respect, because some of the houses you may think, because some call father, appa, some call anna, because variety of ways of addressing the father is this. Tata. Tata is a sort of a very filial affection, because with that, he says, Tata, Kasmai mam dasyam siti. When you have to give Vishwajit Yaga, you have to give whatever belongs to you. I also belong to you. Kasya dasmatamati, to whom you are going to give? We have seen Kasyas Vidyanam in Isavasha Upanishad, whose wealth is there and all. Here also it is made, whom are you going to give it to me? He said. First he thought, what is that he's talking? He's boyish, he's just about 7 to 8 years old, he doesn't know anything at all, he didn't care much. Dvitiyam Tritiyam, next sentence, Dvitiyam Tritiyam. Second time also asked him, because he was boiling inside by concern. Let my father get the benefit of this entire yaga, the entire yajna. He has come in the great lineage of Vajrashravas. why he should be dissipating in the entire whatever he is doing into these incorrigible things. So Tritiyam also, when he said, his father got irritated. This some boy, he is coming and telling, like you imagine if we have told our parents or our own son when he is 7 and 8 years, when you are doing something, he comes and advises you, Arey, get lost, that's what we'll say. He said the same thing, Hoacha. He said, Mrityavevata dadamiti, I will give you to the death. Mrityameva Mrityave tva dadamiti. I will give it to the death. He got third time, he got irritated and said that in anger. This is where exactly the entire, because we will be going into the depth of it. What is happening is when he said, he was out of concern when he was telling, I can even give up my life and save you. When he said, whom are you going to kasya dasasiti? He said, who are you going to give in the sense, okay, I can do anything for you. Give it to me, anyone. I will go and work in someone's house. I go and, because you are giving all these useless cows and burdening them. Let me do it. Because of this, you should get the benefit. For that, I am prepared to do anything. When he said, I am prepared to do anything, even I can give up this body, cessation of the body, and they will. So here, Mrityave Tva Dadamiti. The Upanishad doesn't say, I think, when he has given the next mantra, he will say, and he will say, once he has said Mrityameva Dadaditi, how is it? Is get lost, we say, because when you get irritated, get lost in the sense, baad mein jao, because in Hindi they say, I think you get lost, get into something and you go off from this world, that's what they say. When you say it doesn't happen, but in those days when it is being said, and the person who is listening, he is full of attention with the concern, and he is already prepared to give up even this body at this young age, because it has come about. He is like Prahalada. So like Prahalada, he has got that type of attitude right from the beginning. And he was an introvert, he was not talking. So when he was not talking, expressing, people think, only if you go on talking like politician thinking, they will say, the one who talks will be considered to be, he is all powerful, he can do everything and all. The one who doesn't talk, but is a man of action, that will not be talked, rather he will not be known. Because likewise, we have seen the leaders, like Kamaraj was a leader who is not a very sort of attractive talker. Even Mahatma Gandhi was not a very great talker, because he will talk in broken sentences, simple Hindi, where people can understand even without knowing the knowledge. But it goes straight into the heart. He's not a extempore and voracious speaker and all. He was just like that. But once you know he is talking, so it's like Nachiketa is like this introvert. Whatever he says, full of meaning with the total concern and interest. When he's telling like that, because then when he said he has given that in anger, and he was also a little perplexed. Why should I say, he's a young boy, without knowing anything, this fellow has croaked, once, twice, and thrice he has croaked. Why did I give this particular curse to him? He was also thinking. But Nachiketa, he just took it in his stride. He just took it in his stride. What is there, because he was a great example. He says, no, okay, you said I am prepared for that. It's not a big matter. I am not going to be feeling the suffering or anything like that. If it helps, I will do that. After all, what is that? If I have to finally know that this body has to go, anything, that he will say next 2-3 verses, this has to go. Here only we will see what exactly next, how he, that entire, his father's curse is being taken, and how Nachiketa gets to the hall of Yama, where he goes and meets him, because his father has asked him, and he has said, once you have told me, I will have to abide by that. Nachiketa has said, it's not that, because I think you cursed me. Why did you curse me? I'm young. I will be here, nothing like that. Nachiketa, he said, look, I am prepared. He had got so much of concern. Even by giving my life, my father should get the benefit of whatever he is doing. He should not be, getting into the wrong desires and getting into the wrong ends. That is what, with such a concern, with a total and willingness to give up at the age of 7, 8. This provoked Vivekananda to say, if I had 10 to 12 Nachiketas, this entire India can be transformed within days. In the sense, so much of commitment and concern. When you are doing something, even when you are doing a society for something, or when you are family something, or when you are, for your own people something, you should have so much of concern, because, someone wants to come and takes advice, your own maybe children or someone else very close to you. And, you don't take so much of interest and give advice. If you don't know also, there are two ways. If you don't know, you put him into the person who knows much and get the benefit of it. If you know it, tell him what exactly you would have done, what exactly the plus and minus. You'll have to tell him, the advantages and disadvantages, what might happen, what he should be prepared. You should be sincere enough to give him the right advice. This is exactly this. Even 7 to 8 years old, he was so sincere. He thought, it is wrong. At his age, with his wisdom, whatever, but he had so much of wisdom. And he was also wondering, what is this Vishwajit Yaga and all? Is this religion? You are just giving whatever you don't want, because all your raddis and, all your unwanted things in the house, you are giving it as dana. Is it, that you are complying with the rituals? Is it that your religion says? He questions. Ours is the only Sanatana Dharma in which the religious practices are also questioned openly. Like in this Kathopanishad. It doesn't go on, protecting. No, it has been told in the Vedas, it has been told in the Agamas, Manusmritis. So we will have to do that. Why you have to do that? It provokes you to think. It provokes you to act. It provokes you to go for the higher level of action. This is exactly, ours. Otherwise, now what has happened is, because you have to do that, for this puja, you have to do that. We comply with that. But do we surrender ourselves to totally to the power to which it has to be given? We are not doing it. And our concern for helping or advising others also limited. How am I going to bother? He is doing something, let him do. Someone has told him he has to be done. But if you are sincere, even if he doesn't like what you are telling, if you feel it is sincere, don't hesitate to give that advice. This is exactly the Kathopanishad says. The small, because the boy, through which, it has been given is never hesitate. Assuming a person may be told by someone, you do this, he may be doing sincerely everything and all. But if you come to know, sincerely you feel what is he doing, can be done better, or maybe, he did not have to do all those things. You give your advice. Don't hold it to yourself. Nachiketa held it till last minute. He was an introvert. Finally, he couldn't control. He said, whom are you going to give? He gave an indication in the sense that I am also your belonging. You can give it to me anything, because by virtue of that, if you are going to get the benefit, let it be so. In that process, if I have to give up my body also, I will do. When he gave the curse, say yes, and I will take that curse. If it is going to help, don't take back the curse. I don't want it anything. I will not have any suffering and all. Then he comes to the great Upanishadic concept which he will be telling for a 7 or 8 year old boy. The next mantra will be totally devastating to understand, because it's explosive. It is a simple language, but it makes you to think over and over and again. Then you will understand what a great concept, what has been said. In essence, we cannot be having a hypocritical life. We have to be totally sincere to whatever we are doing. How can we be sincere? Our intention and action should combine together for the purpose. Never hesitate. Even someone is doing something wrong. If you see, but he may be doing in the outward eyes, something great. But if you see it is something wrong, don't hesitate to tell him. He may mistake you. He may think the whole nation is telling something, but this man is telling something. That is the intellectual honesty. That is the wisdom. Pratyasma loka amrta bhavanti. That is what all our science, because they have never had dhiraha. Dhiraha in the sense it is not, you are a great one. It also refers to the great warrior. The dhiraha is one who has conquered the mind and got the wisdom. When you got the wisdom, it is not that you should be content with yourself. It is your bounden duty to tell, even if someone doesn't ask, if you know, because that is your real concern. When you have a real concern to everyone who are coming into this world, because everyone has got the divine life energy in them, Brahman is in them. So once the same Brahman is inside you, you have to deem it as your duty to tell without any fear or favor. This is what the import of the first four mantras. The next mantra onwards, the next four mantras are going to take to the very highest concept. Though concept-wise, in the prose-wise, it is simple. It has got the profound meanings. We will also be drawing the Bhagavad Gita verses and other verses to support whatever has been given. We have been given the greatest gift by God. Kathopanishad has attracted so many people across the continents, across the entire continent, and our own, all acharyas of all streams, all philosophies, considered Kathopanishad to be highest Upanishad in the sense through the simple story they have brought about the great concept, and they are also making your life more purposive even in this modern world. We have seen how we can be living without being hypocritical even the current times. With this, I will try to conclude today's this first talk of Kathopanishad after the curtain raiser. Next week onwards, you will be finding it more interesting, and we will getting into the details of the further expositions on this. I will try to complete and go for the Shanti Pata. After that, I'm trying to get a different type of meditation. I think today, perhaps you will be enjoying it. I brought it particularly. I presume Kesavan will enjoy more, because I brought it some musical meditation this week of a very highest order, and I will also give a just brief before we go for this meditation. So we'll end the session now. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahaihi. तेजस्विनावतीतमस्तु मा विश्वितावहैः। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Just a minute, I will take the meditation.